I have been divorced since 2019, and every now and then I like meeting new people, whether through traveling, going out, sports, or other activities. I am single and straight, and I do not mind connecting with the opposite gender. It usually happens with varying degrees of success and requires a lot of effort. However, I have noticed that gay men seem to like me for some reason and often approach me. Every 1 to 2 months, I am approached by a man. I am as confused as I am flattered. I am neither handsome nor ugly. I am relatively smart and easygoing, with a muscular build and some bear padding. Women rarely compliment my looks, aside from the classic comments like, "You have beautiful eyes," or "You are cute." Speaking of men, sometimes the way they talk makes me wish I were gay. Why do gay men approach me? Does anyone have similar experiences? Story 1. Men are more forward and happier to approach. You are probably just as attractive to both genders, but women expect you to take on the risk and effort of approaching them. Here is the strategy for you. Observe the techniques that men use when approaching you and copy that. Story 2. Because women do not usually initiate romantic interest in men, they do not have to. They just have to show up and 100 people will express interest in them. I also receive attention from some gay men. Honestly, I am flattered. Story 3. Women toss a glance in your direction and consider that making a move. Men ask if you would like to have sex and consider it a good opener. Story 4. Because gay men are more physically attracted to men than the average straight woman, they will approach you more often, more directly, and in a more flattering way. Appreciate it, let it give you a small confidence boost, politely decline, and keep going. Unless you are bisexual or curious, then explore it. Story 5. I have had far more approaches and interest from gay men than from women. Granted, how I dress may influence that, but generally speaking, men are more likely to be forward enough to make their interest known. Women often wait for the man to initiate things, though not all do. Story 6. Yes, you are describing my early 20s when I still had a baby face. Women did not like it. Men did. It is flattering, but at the same time, I gained a lot of empathy for women. Some people do not want to hear no. The one who pretended to be a friend when he had other intentions still bothers me. The older I got, the less effort it took to connect with women. It is nice when you find people mature enough to know what they want and do not play games. Story 7. Without at least seeing you, or even better, talking to you, nobody is really going to be able to say. Anonymous text is one of the worst methods of communication available. Story 8. Take it as a compliment. It means that you must be somewhat attractive, but women still will not step over their pride to talk to you first, while homosexual men do not mind. Story 9. Gay men are more direct and just say what they want. If they want to perform oral sex, they will tell you or just do it at the first opportunity. Story 10. Muscular build with some extra padding. Mature man with this look gives classic fatherly vibes. Even if you are not sensing attraction, you are worth approaching. Story 11. If you expect women to do the approaching, you will have a bad experience. Gay men approach because they are men, and men usually have to approach. Story 12. Feminists have pushed back on most gender stereotypes and roles. There is very little challenge to the tradition that the man needs to approach the woman. Story 13. I was a male ballet dancer for years and fairly handsome, though not now. I think I only ever got hit on by 1 or 2 men, despite having many gay friends. My point is, there might be a reason you are setting off the gaydar. From my experience, when women compliment your eyes and physical features, it means they think you are attractive. Most women do not comment on male beauty. My response to a female complimenting me when I was single would be humor. I did not ask for the burden of being so handsome, but I carry that cross every day of my life. Story 14. Because women rarely overtly show interest in men, they still expect the man to take the initiative. Gay men are still men, so they do not have the social conditioning to avoid being the aggressor. Story 15. That's a good sign. Gay men have good taste. The women will come. Just work on yourself and be a genuinely nice human being, not someone pretending to be nice for sex. Story 16. We are more focused on these things, and you describe yourself as a rugged beard dad type. which is highly admired in the community. Story 17. Approaching someone and making the first move is difficult. Women do not have a social obligation or expectation to make the first move. Therefore, why would a woman initiate unless the man was exceptional? Story 18. Dude, I would have thought you were me, except that I got divorced in 2018. But yes, muscular bear build with chest hair poking out of my shirt collar. Permanent 5 o'clock shadow, and I grew a mustache last year because they are finally back in style and it fits my face well. I got a forearm sleeve tattoo 6 months ago, something I always wanted, rationalized against, then had a moment of, forget it, you only live once. Women occasionally give me a sultry eyelash bat, but gay men march right up and say, hey, not going to happen, but I cannot blame anyone for shooting their shot. Story 19. Muscular build with body padding? Do you have a beard? Gay men might think you are a bear. Also, being called cute and having nice eyes by a woman is probably the most you will get unless you are a model. Story 20. This happens to me all the time as well. A gay man tried to pick me up when I was in Miami once, but I think he got the signals that I was not on the same page. I have also had multiple men compliment my frame, my biceps, or my looks directly. My salsa teacher even passive-aggressively called me handsome once when demonstrating some concept. People also stare at me all the time, perhaps because I am an ethnically ambiguous black man who looks well put together in a rather homogeneous white city. However, the attention from women is practically non-existent. No choosing signals, nothing. I am partially convinced I am doing something wrong, and partially convinced that attention from women is not as forthright. I can point to 3 encounters where there was definitely attraction, but it was not something I noticed until I was told or things progressed further. Story 21. Because you are fabulous, honey. I have been hit on by a couple of men before. I have been told months or years after no flirting from women that they liked me. Men, I guess, are just more willing to take a risk. Ladies sit back and wait, then say it was not meant to be when they could have taken their shot. Life happens that way, gorgeous. Story 22. I like meeting new people. This may be related. Be more selective about whom you choose to meet. Story 23. It is a sign. I seem to be the odd one out when it comes to women because I will approach men and ask them out. Most women are not going to approach you. Trust me, I know. Story 24. Same here. I think it is because I have a slim build but dominant traits, so I can take care of a household but also be lifted with one hand. Admittedly, most of the women who want to peg me. Story 25. You might unknowingly be wearing a shirt that says, I hate the gays, if they are regularly hitting you. Story 26. You are giving off a vibe. I am a big guy but have only been hit on once in a couple of decades. A man stopped me on the street, looked into my eyes and said, You are beautiful. I replied, Do me a favor, tell the women that. I have been called many names over the years. That was the first time I heard beautiful. Story 27. Because muscle bears are one of the most popular types among homosexual men. Speaking as a homosexual man, homosexual men really value masculinity. Being muscular with padding and also hairy with a beard will make you very desirable to many homosexual men. Story 28. Why do gay men approach me? Does anyone have similar experience? No, quite the opposite. I have almost never been approached by gay people, but a lot by older women. I also recently became single after a long relationship, so I am in a phase where I reciprocate despite the age difference. Very seldom, younger women have also approached me. They are usually much more shy. I have always wondered why gay people are considered forward, because this has not been my experience at all. I am decent looking and I swim, so I am rather fit but not muscular like gym enthusiasts. Story 29. You're attractive. Some women may hesitate, but if gay men think you are clean and cute, you are doing well. Story 30. Gay men are still men. They are socialized to be more direct than women. That is all there is to it. Blame the patriarchy and take the compliment. Story 31. Because guys, gay or not, know that they are the one society forces to make an effort. Women do not. The last person you should ask about your own level of attractiveness is yourself. People are just really bad at assessing themselves. Story 32. Because women have much higher standards, especially regarding appearance. Men find a wide range of traits attractive, whereas women are much more selective and consistent. Story 33. It's an easy trap to fall into when you expect women to be direct and tell you they like you or are attracted to you. They are never going to tell you, "I think you are attractive," to your face. Women do not operate like that. Story 34. Gay men will initiate, also known as start a conversation or express interest in an overt way. Women will not because they are not attracted to you, but because women generally do not make the first move in these kinds of situations. Gay men are much more forward. There are women out there thinking the same thoughts. They just do not act on them the way that gay men do. Story 35. I guess I must have an attractive bear-like build, because I was approached by many men when I was in prison. I even received a few pats on the back. Story 36. Men of any sexual orientation are far more likely to be straightforward with their advances than women. Story 37. If you send me your photo, I can help style you in a more straightforward way. You may unintentionally be giving mixed signals. 27-year-old female in Los Angeles. Story 38. Women did not even look at me until I was below 15% body fat. You need to get rid of the extra 20 pounds you are carrying. It is like a light switch, a night and day difference. Men do not care about weight as much. Story 39. Because guys approach more than girls, I try to look at it like that. Unless you are looking very flamboyant, you are probably just well-kept and a strapping dude, so take the compliment. This used to happen to me a lot. The first few times it's a compliment, and after a while you have to question if you are giving gay vibes or what. But it's not a big deal if you like the way you look and present yourself. Story 40. This is very discouraging as a straight male. I cannot speak for all men, but I am not comfortable approaching women unless I know they are interested. Story 41. I can count the number of times I have been hit on with one hand compared to the other way around. As a man, that is just how it goes. Story 42. As a woman who does not approach men, even if I am attracted to them, there are 3 reasons I have recognized as my inhibitors. 1. I am extremely shy around men I find attractive. I am shy to the point where even making eye contact is difficult. Unfortunately, this mannerism can come across as disinterest. I have been trying to put myself out there more and have recently been training myself to make more eye contact. I am improving, but approaching and talking to a man is beyond my current skill set. Shame culture. This is more difficult to overcome. Many men online complain about women being too masculine, and many women repeat rhetoric like, "If he wanted to, he would." Additionally, there is a cultural perception of women being too forward as an indication that they are easy. These factors create a strong mental block that convinces me it is wrong to openly express interest in men. Related to the previous point, if the man I am trying to talk to believes any of the above rhetoric, he will likely label me as easy or a promiscuous woman and assume I am trying to sleep with him. In reality, I prefer to wait for a committed relationship or marriage. It would seem illogical to him if I flirted but rejected sexual advances shortly after. It makes more sense for me to wait to be approached by someone genuinely interested in getting to know me. That way, I can set my boundaries and there is a better chance they will be respected because I am the one being pursued. Story 43. I imagine most straight men who have spent time at gay bars would say the same. I used to go to gay bars and clubs with my gay friend often. I would get hit on more by gay men in 2 or 3 nights at a gay bar than by women in an entire year. Men are generally more direct. Whether gay or straight, many men will just take their chance without overthinking. Most women do not. Even when women are relatively forward, they are usually trying to give a signal for someone to make a move. Men simply go for it. Story 44. Some guys are socialized to initiate actions that follow through across sexuality. Also, just between you and me, most multi-level marketing guys have lower standards than the average woman. If you are a 5 in the straight sense, you are probably a 7 in the gay sense. Also, you could be sending signals. Story 45. Women do not approach men. They think they are special or something. Men have no such ego, and if a man likes you, he will approach you. Story 46. Gay men do not have inflated egos and are not afraid of rejection, unlike some individuals. Story 47. Yeah, I can relate and I'm just as confused. I've rejected probably 100 gay men in the last 2 years. Meanwhile, I have to pursue the few women I'm actually interested in. Story 48. If you're worried that you're sending a homosexual signal and that's scaring women away, it's unlikely. In 2025, the community of men who have relationships with other men is quite large. I've been with many non-heterosexual men, and while I take some pride in my intuitive ability to identify sexual orientation, it is not foolproof and has a relatively high failure rate. Many heterosexual women cannot tell I am bisexual unless I inform them. I rarely have to search for non-heterosexual men for long. There are plenty of clear options available, so I have never approached a heterosexual man by mistake. Additionally, it is rare that I find heterosexual men attractive, as they tend to have characteristics I am not interested in. Some men might use different approaches to find partners, which involves testing whether someone is homosexual or not, as well as whether they are interested. For example, they might express interest in men they are unsure about but who have caught their attention. Also, some men are very attracted to typical heterosexual male characteristics, which can make someone more appealing even if they are not homosexual. There is also a group of homosexual men who actively seek out heterosexual men. They hope these men may be bisexual without knowing it or are intrigued by the idea of being with someone who is not typically or has never been interested in men. I have never experienced this personally, but it does occur, and they will try their luck. Story 49. There are times I wish I was gay too. Guys are not complicated and they are fun to be around. I went through a similar time when guys were hitting on me a lot. I think it was because I was a sharp dresser but had the bear look. I do not have a solution that does not involve drastic wardrobe changes or appearing more masculine. Just be cool and respectful with those guys. Once they see you are cool but not interested, many will start talking to their female friends about you. Story 50. Back in the late 1980s to mid-1990s, I used to get hit on by gay men regularly despite being straight. I was also pretty small in build, had long hair, and got hit on by straight men at the bar as well when approaching me from behind. I took the gay men's attempts as a compliment because they at least found me attractive, as opposed to drunk straight men who just saw long hair, tight jeans or spandex or a combination thereof. I was a punk rock metalhead. My fashion was different, and nothing is ugly after last call. Comparing now to then, more gay people are out, society is more accepting, and people who may have wanted to hit on you 20 years ago but didn't feel they could are now comfortable enough to do so. If it happens once every couple of months, that really is not a lot. Story 51. I find that I attract more men than women. I am bisexual, so it is not too bothersome to me, but I do crave a proper heterosexual relationship despite my bisexuality. Story 52. People just assume I am gay because of my happy-go-lucky demeanor and habit of laughing at everything. I am not. I am 100% straight. Story 53. If you expose yourself to people, you cannot be surprised if some of them hurt you. Story 54. This has always been the story of my life. First of all, I have been assumed to be gay many times by people who don't know me well. They have explained that I dress well, dance well, speak well, am confident, smart, and not homophobic. But I am straight, always wondering how much respect I would get if I were gay. Story 55. If gay men show interest in you or act like men do when catcalling women, does that mean you are probably fairly attractive to women as well? Can you be attractive to gay men but not to women? Just curious. Women do seem to notice me, and I am wondering what people generally think. Story 56. Women do not like men as much as gay men like men. Thank you, gay men. I am sorry I can never return your feelings. Story 57. Do you have any mental or physical problems? If not, that might contribute to the reason. Essentially, women tend to like men with problems because it makes the woman feel like she is improving herself when she helps the man, even though the man could have been recently released from prison, committed serious crimes, or stolen large amounts of money and assets. She keeps thinking she is improving herself by helping a man with mental or physical problems. Story 58. I wait for a man who is interested in me to approach me. It is difficult for me right now to tell if a man likes me or not, but I have heard that a man who does like me will find a way to talk to me. Otherwise, I just assume a man is taken or not interested. Story 59. Guys approach others far more frequently than women do. As a personal anecdote, I was invited to a gay night at a pub once. I was not informed it would be a gay night. I found out when I arrived at the venue. I am not gay, but not wanting to waste the evening, I decided to have a few drinks before leaving. I was approached by men more during those 2 or 3 hours than I have been by women in my entire life. That includes up until now, and this happened about 15 years ago. Story 60. The reason is simple. You are neither handsome nor ugly. So you mean to say you are just right. You are smart and easygoing, but not so smart that we feel dumb. Muscular build with a bit of dad padding. Muscles, attractive and even hot. Dad padding being real. And you have beautiful eyes which say a lot. You are kind of the perfect man. I say get over the hang-ups about setting yourself in a mold. Open yourself up to new experiences. Try being bisexual and live a little. Maybe it is meant to be and you find the perfect partner. And if you are well endowed, even better. Story 61. You have beautiful eyes is definitely a woman's attempt at hitting on you. At the very least, she finds you appealing enough to risk the chance that you might be the guy who takes a compliment too far. Also, gay men are still men, so they are going to behave just as boldly as straight men. I have never met a man who lacks audacity, regardless of sexual orientation. Story 62. Because women do not show romantic interest in anyone, and heterosexual men would not be interested, this leaves you with homosexual men who may show interest in you. Story 63. I know people here are giving reasons like women don't make an effort, pride, overinflated ego, and other excuses, but I think men should consider the possibility that sometimes women don't approach us because they can easily be labeled as easy, trying too hard, or a certain type of woman. There are still men who think it isn't womanly to make the first move. Seriously, a woman will sit there waiting for a man and she gets criticized for it, or she approaches the man first and still gets shamed later. Also, gay people have always been like that. They are more outspoken about what they like and do not care if they don't fit society's moral and social expectations. Story 64. I've been hit on by one gay man but had plenty of women hitting on me, so I don't think it's for the reasons that most other men are commenting. Maybe there's something about your mannerisms or your look that's giving mixed signals. If you have a mustache like your avatar, that could maybe do it depending on how you carry it. I am not trying to say there's anything wrong with whatever it is that's making gay men think, yeah, there's enough of a chance he's gay, I'll take a shot. But it is obviously happening for a reason, or else it would be a universal experience, and the original poster asked why gay men might be hitting on him so much. I am assuming the downvotes are for the mustache comment. Going back less than 10 years ago, the mustache was pretty much exclusive to a gay subtype in the Western world and had been for decades. Story 65. I would be very flattered. I recommend making friends with a couple of gay men. They make great wingmen. They enjoy activities typical among men, but since they are attracted to men, they can help you look and be your best. The challenge is they might be attracted to you. You might not want to know how to be attractive to gay men, but that is their expertise. While they may say you are just a friend and that they respect boundaries and your heterosexuality, they might still be attracted to you. You might be part of their fantasy. This is something to be aware of and not let bother you. This is not necessarily a downside as long as they respect boundaries. The key is to talk to these gay men and see if they are willing to hang out and be friends. Assuming you were gay, not saying you are, but if you were and these men were in your dating pool, you would want to do that anyway. The lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and other scene can be tumultuous and sometimes unsafe. Hookup culture is more common there than in heterosexual culture. Also, two cisgender men cannot impregnate each other. So while sexually transmitted diseases remain a risk, pregnancy is not, which influences behavior. If you are looking for a serious partner, you would want to take it slow, and many gay men respect that. Some just want a hookup, but you can screen them safely. Gay men screen, too. There is nothing wrong with accepting a drink, only from the bartender and never leaving it unattended. You must be cautious. as you would if you were a woman accepting a drink from a man, since predators exist. You should also make it clear from the start that you are not gay and not interested in experimenting. If they do not leave immediately, either they are trying to change your mind and could be dangerous, or they are simply friendly men who enjoy another man's company more than you might expect and might be open to friendship. You must realize that many men pursuing women would take a friendship offer as an insult or an attack on their masculinity. Gay men pursuing other men may have similar reactions. Not all, but some. Understanding this possibility is important. Men pursuing men is similar to men pursuing women not because of the gender being pursued, but because of the gender pursuing. Any advice you would give your daughter about being approached by men applies to you if you are dealing with gay men approaching you. That advice is universal. We should all strive to be kinder to one another. Story 66. Women are socially conditioned to not be forthcoming about showing interest, while men are. Now take that and double it for a gay bar. Story 67. Women pretty much never compliment my looks despite classic phrases like, "You have beautiful eyes," or "You are cute." Honestly, what else are you expecting? This is a clear sign they are interested in you. Story 68. Original poster. As a woman, I'm curious about the compliments you receive from gay men compared to women. I'd like to keep some of these in mind the next time I want to subtly make a move. Story 69. Тому що ти виглядаєш мужньо, а гомосексуальні чоловіки люблять мужніх чоловіка. Ще мен здаться, що гомосексуальні чоловіки здатні більше цінувати естетику чоловічого тла, ніж жінки. Я гомосексуальна людина. Story 70. You say you enjoy meeting new people, but then act surprised when someone shows interest. Story 71. People in the comments finding it a compliment that a man wants to have sex with them makes me question if they are even straight. Do not take that as a compliment because it is actually total disrespect that you are looked at that way, and you should next time make that known. This tolerance and acceptance has gone way too far. I do not know what countries you live in, but in many countries walking up to people in public, unless it is a bar or some other social area, minding their own business and hitting on them is a complete no-no regardless of sexual orientation, and that is how it should be. Story 72. They are aggressive with no shame. You can tell immediately if someone is comfortable or not. Being pushy is not going to help. I asked a worker where something was in the store. They brought me there. I said I could take it from there. They showed me the item. I said, "Okay, that's all I need." They stayed and kept talking, giving their opinion. Then I said, "All right, I got this. Thanks for helping." They literally asked me if I was going for a picnic. I wanted them to read the room, they still stayed longer. I just wanted a charging cable. That's it. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.